Hello everyone, welcome to Lesson 8, The Power to Communicate Essay Writing. What I've decided to do for this lesson is in fact walk you through the content that is here, offer some tips, highlight some key points that I think you need to focus on, and as well offer some examples and suggestions to help you in regards to your decision in choosing either to write a formal essay or to create a rant, a live rant, which I also think would be super fun, and it kind of covers the exact same skill sets, but just in a different way to give you guys that option. So first and foremost, we are actually halfway through our course almost, which is kind of crazy to think about, and we're kind of accumulating several skills that we've learned so far in the idea of persuasion. So we've kind of gone through the idea of structured paragraph, the idea of the ethos, pathos, logos, and now we're kind of tying all these things here. So within Lesson 8, again, we have our learning goals and our success criteria and sort of why we're doing what we're doing and of course how it's tied to the Ontario curriculum. Here we have our lesson on the idea of writing why we write essays, how we write essays, the college level expectation of writing essays, and there's always an audio recording for you. Then I take you right down here in terms of how it applies to the real world, which some people I think kind of lose sight on how the skills of essay writing in fact does apply. It is the idea of the skills you learn of intellectual and critical thinking, research, structure, planning, which can be applied to absolutely any job in the workforce in terms of those key skills that we know that employers are looking for. So I'm going to take you right down here. I'm going to cut right to it. So the idea of a structured essay, we are looking for 5 body paragraphs. You always start with your introduction, of which has what is known as your opening sentence and your thesis. Your thesis is in fact the point of your essay. You have to explain what it is you are trying to prove. And within an essay, we always go with the golden 3, right? So you have your 3 arguing points to in fact prove your point, and we always sort of present that in our introduction here. We go right into our body. Again, this is a 5 body paragraph essay, therefore you will have 3 body paragraphs. Really important. And what I am looking for specifically here, guys, is those very strong key points. And we have to have very specific examples of those key points, and we have to have our explanation. So this in fact ties back to our Peel organizer that we had a couple lessons ago when we were working on our structured power paragraph. So I want to remind you of that. Please feel free to refer back to it. I do have another organizer here, but it works in a very similar way. And of course we have our conclusion. This is kind of where we go from very specific to general. It kind of wraps up our argument. I always use the example of a court case. So think of it like you're the attorney, you're the lawyer, and you are defending your client. You have 3 pieces of evidence that you're going to present to the jury. And then your conclusion is kind of your closing, your wrap up. You're basically reiterating everything that you have explained, and you're going to have your closing statements about how your client is innocent, or basically how in your case, your argument, you are in fact right and you've proven that effectively. We have a video here in regards to the proper format for a 5-paragraph essay to help you. And of course, I have given you several examples here. So we have an international student website for another kind of comprehensive explanation of an essay. And then right here it says, as you read through this essay, which I thought was kind of cool, once you click on it, it actually brings you through an example of an essay that is, I think, quite strong. So I put it there on purpose for you to have an actual solid example of what I'm looking for. Again, we go into success criteria. Now, I've just given you basically everything. Sorry, I went back up there, guys. I apologize. I've just basically given you everything for an essay. But then you do have the option to do a recorded live rant, which is an oral or visual essay. So very specifically, guys, the expectations are very clear. You have your 2 columns. So who I want you to look at for this is Rick Mercer. if you ever watch the Rick Mercer Report, he is in fact a Canadian comedian, quite famous in his own right for his rants. And if you've never heard of him before, I am going to post some examples for you on our page. Please go to YouTube, type in Rick Mercer. Winter Canadian Driving is actually just one of his rants. They're not too long, but they are in fact a great example of what a rant can and should be. Again, please have a look at it. It is a great example. He's quite famous for his rants if you've never watched him before. Again, the expectations, you're still doing your rough work, you are still handing in all your process, you still have your 3 supporting points in a rant as you do in an essay, so they are in fact the same. One thing I missed, I do apologize for that. Under assessment, if you so choose to do an essay or even a rant, I think I'd be open to either one. I am very happy to give you feedback. So here it says to get early feedback, please submit your organizer here, and I will get those back to you as soon as I possibly can. So that's it for me for now, guys. I hope this was a bit more helpful in regards to what I'm looking for. If you want any further help, any explanation, you know you can connect with me on Google Hangout every day at 11, and if that time does not work for you, then let me know and we can create another time. Happy writing, guys.